Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the new week, and I am back with my weekly do's and don'ts to tap into the energy of the week. My name is Megan Alton. I am an intuitive strategist and the numerology queen. And so, what I do is I help you understand the energy of what's unfolding in the coming days, week. Today, specifically, we're going to talk about the week ahead. So, you can really use this to support you. We live in a beautiful, friendly universe that wants to support us and wants to see us succeed. And so, because of that, if you understand how the energy is unfolding, you can really be carried, right? It's like imagine you're surfing and you're on top of the wave and you hit that sweet spot where it just like flows you forward towards your goal. So, as you listen to today's forecast, I would love for you to just bring top of mind, what are you working on? What is a goal you have or an intention you have? Maybe it's something personal. Maybe you're working on, either your health or your relationships or, parenting. I know I'm going into spring break right now, which means extra parenting demands, but it also means extra quality time with my kids. And so we can set intentions around that as well. And it can be professional. Like I'm working on expanding my business. I'm working on increasing my income. I'm working on creating a new product line, whatever it is. So for you, I want you to think of what's my intention. Keep it top of mind as I share the energy that how it's going to unfold this week, and take note about what ideas come up and emerge because you can really use that to support you going forward. So if you're catching me on the live, let me know, say hi, let me know you're here. If you're on the replay as well, comment #replay, and I can help hold space for your goals and intentions as well. So this week, what is the theme this week in general? The theme in general this week is you do not need to be healed in order to have a beautiful impact, to make a difference, and to be the support in the world that you know in your heart that you are truly being called to do. You don't need to be healed to make a difference. You don't need to be perfect to show up. You get to show up in the beauty that is the imperfections that we are. You get to show up in the energy of wherever you're at today and know that is perfect. Whether you've experienced some contrast or some challenges over the last week or two, if you have, I really want you to know you are not alone. Everyone is having stuff come up right now. And so notice that. Notice like what are the little things that are kind of coming up that are like super annoying. And like, I thought I dealt with that. And like, isn't that in the past? And oh my God, is this coming up again? And rather than looking at it as that, look at it as, wow, there was like residual energy of this in the cells of my body. And now I'm being asked to notice that, detox it, and release it. This is not about pretending to be perfect. This is about noticing where you're at, feeling it, processing it, and then releasing it. And know that you can show up both in the contrast and challenge of stuff that might be coming up for you, as well as in the leadership of who you are, the truth of who you are. You can be both. In fact, we more effectively relate and connect with human, vulnerable, and imperfect leaders, right? Nobody wants to look up to someone who is perfect because that's an unattainable ideal. So this week we really have access to freedom in order to start some new beginnings. Okay, this is a super exciting week for me, for all of us. We have some really powerful energy that we can connect with. We are going to be tapping into a beautiful acceleration energy. And so what I would really advise you to do is make sure you leave time for freedom and movement. Get outside, go for a walk, work in a different location than you normally would. Like this is a great week to go and like work at a coffee shop or take your notebook to the park and sit and journal under a tree somewhere. Go by the water and just allow the freedom and the expansiveness to inspire you. That's something that really wants to come up for this week. Start now. Don't say, well, I'm going to do this in 2 months from now when everything's perfect. I'm going to figure this. First, I need the website. Then I need the branding. Then I need the thises and the that's. Don't. Just jump in and start now. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can start with the very little step of moving forward towards what you want. If you think, oh, well, I'm going to wait until my littlest is a little bit older before we do this, or I'm going to wait until, you know, what I don't even know, whatever. Like whatever. It's the same idea as like waiting until you lose 5 pounds to go and have fun at the beach. No, go and have fun at the beach now. By allowing yourself to be in the energy of the freedom and the expansion and whatever the values is that you crave, you create more of it. So if I allow myself to put my work out in the world, even if I don't feel ready, I create more of the world being ready to receive my work, right? If I allow myself to engage in the things I want to with my children now, I get to create more of that when they're older. And notice that when we wait for things to be perfect, or when we wait for ourselves to be healed before we start, we're never going to do it. There's no such thing as perfection. There's no such thing as being perfectly healed. There's no such thing as no contrast. That's not the world we live in. We live in a world of duality, right? We live in a world where there is both day and night, and that's okay. And we can allow those to be embodied with us. The most important thing I believe in that is recognizing that we don't have to create this division. We can actually recognize and honor and integrate that we can be both. And by being both, we get to bring them together and truly honor that principle of unity. So if you're noticing contrast, rather than like fighting against it, just recognize like, yes, and, right? Like, yes, and yes, it's hard to parent and run a business when the children are home from school. And what else is true, right? Yes, I might not feel completely ready to put my work out into the world. And people are curious and interested and want to hear what I have to say, right? So let there be a yes and by doing so, you actually get to narrow that gap. And the cool thing about narrowing that gap and creating that unity is you actually tap into a current and a flow and a momentum. So if you listen to my energy of March forecast, you'll know that we are in a momentum energy right now. And so the more we can kind of create this unity or cohesive vibe, the more we tap into that current and that flow that wants to propel us forward, that creative expansion energy, right? Just knowing that by doing that, we can tap into an acceleration, right? So this is very much a both and week. Invite in both stillness and movement, and recognize that you can be both at the same time. Invite in both playful, crazy silliness and deepness and wisdom and introspection, right? Allow both and allow an integration of the two as well. I guess one of the biggest don'ts I really want you to consider this week is don't become overly identified with your challenge, right? It's okay that the challenge is a part of you, and you are so much more than your challenge. You are so much more than your struggle. You are so much more than your overwhelm, right? Let yourself recognize it and honor it, right? And take steps if you feel inspired to heal or release it. This isn't about denying where you're at, but recognize that the challenge you're experiencing is not all of you. You are so much more than that. And you can be both struggling and leading. You can be both feeling bumpiness and moving forward. Okay, so I really want you to take that into heart this week as you move forward. Welcome shifts and changes. Allow yourself to ebb and flow with what's coming up. Be like the water, gently moving around whatever rocks and obstacles might come its way. And really recognize, the water is a great analogy, because really recognize this week is asking you to own the power and the confidence that you have to navigate. This doesn't mean lone wolfing it. Don't do that. Reach out for support, reach out for help if you feel you need it. But you hold the power in your hands, even though somebody can walk with you and hold your hand. You hold the power in your hands. So that's the energy of the week. Recognizing that you can lead with what connects you versus what separates you. I hope that this has been helpful. Comment below and let me know, what's the number one takeaway? What are you going to apply this week to really support you in manifesting some of the goals and the intentions that you're working on? I know for me, one of the biggest takeaways for me this week is to make sure that I take some time and space to play with my kids. That's one of my goals this week, is to work when I've got work, play when I have some windows of playing, and recognize that I can be both. So I want to know what yours is. What's your takeaway? What are you guys going to apply? And yeah, I look forward to chatting with you again soon. Have a great week.